Many African countries have been praised for their response to the pandemic, but there are still concerns for the more fragile economies and development markets, such as the commodity-based economy of Zimbabwe. Now, South Africa is struggling in many ways with this pandemic. With the fragility of Zimbabwe, it begs the question. We're going now live to Harare, and Batanai Matsika, the head of research at Morgan & Co. That's the big question we have. Many countries, including this one here, are struggling terribly with it. How is Zimbabwe doing it, bearing in mind that all that's happened over the last 20 years in the economy?
Yes, I think with the COVID-19 measures, the government, of course, has come up to say that, put in place lockdown, measures. But however, as you clearly highlight, I mean, the cost on the economy is quite huge if you then consider the impact on things such as the earning capacity and also poverty levels. Because structurally, if you then look at economies like Zimbabwe, they are highly informal. And basically, we're looking at your unemployment rates above 90%, they're above. So really, the cost of things such as social distancing has been quite significant, especially for individuals and households. So there are a lot of concerns around, whether the government has the ability to put in place adequate social safety nets, and also come up with some rescue packages, even for small business. But also, even on the trading side of things, I think one thing that's key and that we continue to highlight as an investment house is that limitations for Zimbabwe has been around the productivity levels that continue to be quite low. So really, if then you continue to push for lockdowns, especially in critical sectors, then that affects your export earning capacity. But also another risk that we're also seeing is that sectors that are also key in forex generation, such as tourism, have been hard hit. So really, there are a lot of risks that we continue to see for a fragile economy like Zimbabwe.
So in terms of trade, I mean, you're still one of South Africa's biggest trading partners. How is this COVID-19 affected the mines in particular? I mean, the platinum mines. Presumably it's been on a lockdown as well, shut production.
Okay, so the second phase of the lockdown period actually allowed, miners to start producing. So which means that your platinum and gold miners are now starting to ramp up production. But also on that note, I think concerns, especially around pricing, are actually come through, especially when you then consider the impact of something like a global recession that will affect a commodity-driven nation like Zimbabwe. Basically, we're looking at minerals such as gold, also have PGMs in Zimbabwe, chrome, and the like. So really, the risk is around pricing as we move forward, but also in terms of volumes as well, if the lockdown measures actually continue.
And just lastly, very briefly, we're talking this country, more than 1 million jobs might go. I mean, that's like conservative. We're talking tens of thousands of companies will go to the wall after this. What about Zimbabwe?
Yeah, Zimbabwe, there are two dynamics. On one end, you're looking at a very large informal sector. You find that self-employment is quite big, and there are a lot of people, small players out there. But also, as we move, as we progress in 2020, I think there's need to formalize businesses, because if you then have a very large informal economy, it doesn't really help in terms of GDP growth and even development revenues. So really, that's one dynamic. But also on the other end, if you then consider the issues around disposable incomes that are coming down, and also demand levels that continue to grow, this presents a huge risk for companies in terms of viability going forward. I think what the Minister of Finance is also hinted is that there's need for some form of a rescue package that will need to be put in place really to assist, especially the SMEs. I think that's quite critical for Zimbabwe.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. That's Batanai Matsika, the head of research at Morgan & Co.